Hello everybody. Today I'm going to do a review, ultimately, in just a moment, of the Uncle Henry Mini Pro Hunter. Uncle Henry Schrade, part number, or item number PH2N. I'll set that aside for just a moment. I have what I call SKS, small knife syndrome. It started with this knife, the Bark River Mini Canadian, excellent knife. The reason why I got a smaller knife is I work with horses and other livestock, have chores to do, and folding knives are great. And here I got a CRKT M16. They're really great, and having one on you all the time stuck in your front pocket's good. When I'm working outside and I have a heavy coat on, especially long coats or rain gear, getting into your front pocket to grab a knife to cut something can be a hassle. So I came up with a bright idea of on an outside belt, and having that around my waist would be a lot easier than digging in my pockets. And also I'll have a Leatherman or other items on an outside belt. So I decided to get a fixed blade knife, because then I didn't have to worry about opening it up, and I can just slide it in and out of the sheath. And on this bucket sheath, that makes it real easy. Problem I've had, because I ride horses and sometimes I'm working on other equipment, for hiking and other outdoor hunting, fishing, bucket sheath is fine. But if you're doing anything real active, the knife can pop out. Secondly, I really like this knife, and using it to do chores with, I didn't realize how much I was going to like this knife. So I retired that from everyday work carry. I picked up a Condor mini bushcrafter. Once again, it has a bucket sheath, but I've met a man named Joe Flowers who works with Condor. Met him a couple times. He is a really knowledgeable and decent person, and I carried this a lot. The one glitch, Condor's known for having really good sheaths, and this is a good sheath. It's thick, and at the price point of a Condor knife, if I happen to lose it, I wouldn't be crushed. The glitch with this one is the sheath started to loosen up, and you can see I tried to tighten the sheath up some with some bank line, and it's still fine. But you know, after you carry something for a while, you want to try something else. And that's one of the neat things about some of the budget knives. If you want to try something else, it doesn't break the bank. Of course, I have the Mora 511. I have a couple of those. Got this and practiced forcing a patina. This one I've done different things with, rigged up on one of my hiking packs. Didn't force a patina on that, and it's now getting stained, but who cares? For like an $8 knife, it's fun. Of course, I have this one's a more military, I think. Even when I go to buy a knife, when I decided to buy a K-bar, I picked the United States Army USA model, which is smaller than the USMC fighting knife. For a while, the Rat 3 was really popular, and it's not all that expensive. And I carried that for a while. Good secure thief, sheath, not a thief. A little bit big for chores and stuff, so this is now in my urban bug out bag. Another great knife, a mini Pendleton. Fits all my needs well, nice and light. And just to have something a little different, I got a Tops FDX 66. I'm still working on a wrap. I just threw this on hastily a while ago. An odd knife, functional, really flat. But that was more of a purchase on a whim just because it was something a little different I wanted to work with. So anyway, because I ride horses and stuff, sometimes, you know, riding around with a nylon knife just kind of doesn't fit in when I try to imagine that I'm in the Old West slaying outlaws. So anyway, I decided to grab this knife. And this is the, as I said, the Mini Pro Hunter by Uncle Henry, Taylor Brands. And it's a very traditional knife, but with some modern twists to it. So, I'll go over the knife real quick. I guess I can get the box out here. It comes in a nice box. I know, don't really care about boxes sometimes, but anyway, looks like they're trying to keep their presentation up. Oh, by the way, I do have big knives. Before I started videoing, I grabbed my RTAC 2. So, anyway, I do have, I'm not that challenged. I do have big knives. Anyway, back to the mini knife. The blade length on this is about 2.8 inches. It's about 6.8 inches overall with about a 4-inch handle. If you want the exact specs, you can look online. The knife comes with a little bit of leather for a lanyard I've got bundled up here. And comes with a leather sheath, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. The blade material is 7CR13 MOV, I think is what they're advertising it as. It's a Chinese steel. Of course, this is an overseas China-made knife. I looked up 7CR13 MOV, and some of what I read is like actually that really doesn't exist. It's 7CR13. It's the Chinese equivalent of 440A, and 440A in the United States is a budget steel, a stainless steel, often used in diving knives and other budget knives. So it's not the worst steel out there. It's a budget steel. This is a budget knife. Doesn't make it a bad knife. I haven't used it at all, really. I just got it a couple days ago, and I spent some time cleaning it up. So I'll see how well the blade holds up. A review I read, I think on Amazon, might have been on a different site, but somebody complained that the blade chipped. Not sure what you were doing to this little knife to chip the blade. It's not a chopper. It's an everyday carry size knife that you could use for, of course, hunting, hiking, fishing, outdoor tasks. I'm not sure what you would do to this little knife to chip the blade, but that's okay. The other reviews I've read on it is pretty good. If I didn't mention, the weight on it is, on the knife itself, is about 3.5 ounces, and toss in the sheath and you're putting another ounce or so on your waist. You could wear this as a neck knife. There's other better neck knives out there for that purpose. So if that's what you want to do, knock yourself out, certainly can be used for that task. The only thing, if you dangle it this way, you're going to be drawing the knife up by your face. So the blade is a little bit of a drop point, and it feels sort of like it has a hollow grind below the flat. When I first got it, and I took some pictures of it out of the box, a couple things. The bolsters were tarnished really bad. So I got some flits out, and they polished up just fine. Didn't take much effort at all to get the bolsters shiny. And the front edge of the bolster was really sharp. And I took an Arkansas stone and just broke the edge and the corner. That also took all of 3 minutes to break that edge. And now it's a semi-custom Chinese-made knife that worked out just fine. On the sheath, I've read that Schrade has been trying to up their game on their sheaths, and I will say, you can have a good knife and kind of a cruddy sheath, and that affects a likability scale of the knife. So I appreciate that they went with a leather sheath with a classic style. Has a finger choil here. The handles, of course, are not any kind of natural material. I don't know whether it's Delrin or is some sort of plastic. They did, even though I'm griping about the sharpness of the bolster, the handles are nicely rounded along the edges. So in hand, it's a really comfortable knife. And also, it's got a good size handle. And one of the things I've discovered over the years is when using a knife, some of the most comfortable knives to work with are knives that have a smaller blade and a longer handle. You can really grasp the knife well. It's very comfortable, helps you do finer work. So I think they did a good job of making a smaller knife that my hands are about medium sized, maybe a little bit medium large. I think they did a pretty good job of making a small knife that you can still hold well in your hand and do tasks with. Back to the sheath. They did a pretty good job on the sheath. I'm assuming it too is made in China, though I don't know for sure. There's a spacer in there for the sheath so that the knife slides in and out easily. The snap seems decent enough. The leather, though, it was really dry, and I really wiped this down several times last night with some saddle oil, some Feeblings, and it has just sucked that oil up between last night and today, and it's still dry. And that's something I've noticed on other sheaths of late. I bought another Bark River knife a while ago, an STS4, and I think that sheath is made by Sharpshooter, and that leather was really dry. So I don't know whether it's the production process. I'm sure this might be vegetable tanned. I'm not sure if the production process now is changing to be more inexpensive and it's just drying the leather out, or what. I'm by no means an expert on leather and leather sheaths, but I'll continue to apply some coats of oil on the sheath to try and get it to soften up a little. When a sheath is really dry, just get worried about the leather possibly splitting. So that's the reason why I give them a good coat of some type of protectant. But it's a nice size loop on there. Will fit on just about any reasonable size of belt. And so far, just for an inexpensive knife, I'll be working with this over the next few months and give it a try. Watching some other videos and reading some other reviews, when people talk about small knives, oh, you wouldn't want a baton with it. Well, I will baton with this. The thing is, you just can't baton thick wood. And there's a couple different reasons for batoning some wood. Of course, when you're in camp and you want to have a supply of some split wood to burn, that's one reason. But the main reason to baton wood is when it's really wet out and you're collecting wood to have a fire. A lot of time the outside of the wood will be soaked pretty well through, but it's the inside of the wood that you want to get to help your fire get going. So for smaller stick processing, you can baton smaller sticks with a smaller knife and get to that dry wood and help your fire get going. So I'll give this knife a try and let you know at a later date what I think about it. And other than that, thanks for watching, and always check your six.